Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. on this 24th day of March. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for.
We'll get into all sorts of stuff going into the baseball season kicking off tomorrow with their headline game, and then the rest of our teams kicking off Thursday. We'll talk some wrestling with our boy 24KG, all the headlines going around. Plus, you can call or text in anytime throughout the show at 661-842-2000.
And if you watched Raw last night, it was live from Boston. You got to see, well, essentially the bloodline reforming, I would only assume, but we'll get KG's thoughts on that. Plus, there's some news out of the March Madness tournament. The women are going at the moment, and UConn dropped 50 on Syracuse. God, at this point in the women's side, can we just give the trophy to UConn every single year? They've been undefeated for God knows how long, and it's so bad now that the Syracuse head coach is complaining because they've had to see him 4 times in 9 years in the second round. And I kind of understand, but at the same time, I'm on the side of coaching here. It says, if you've played the same team a couple times, haven't you figured them out yet? Haven't you figured out how to beat them? Maybe that's why the NCAA puts you guys in the same bracket. But losing by 50 is definitely not something to really shy away from. So you hopefully can figure something out there, and we can see some competition on the women's side of the bracket as well, instead of just going with UConn every single season. But let's start in the NFL, because there was a couple signings yesterday. We talked about Jackson Smith and Jigba, obviously getting his major contract. It seems like Puka Nacua might be around the corner from a big one himself. But the big one that we have to talk about, Travis Kelce getting a 3-year extension yesterday. I had a couple people walk up to me at the golf tournament. Thank you to everybody who was at the Honor Flight Open, by the way. Love being out there. It was a beautiful day. We'll talk about that at some point. But 3 years, Sparky?
Well, it's broken down where it's a year-to-year thing,
Is
but
it?
they did come out and say, 3 years? What?
Well, that's the question that everyone looked at me and said, I thought he was retiring this year.
And now it's structured that he can get out or restructure each year, but the main chunk of the contract is into the first year, and they did break it down where he has an option to retire after each year.
That's smart, because obviously I don't know if Taylor is going to be letting him play for 3 more seasons, but the Chiefs need him. They really do. They need every bit of talent they can get, and if they could squeeze the last bit of the talent out of Travis Kelce in these last 2 years, that's what I'm kind of wondering myself.
And that was one of the main questions on a lot of these sports shows is, if you look at it year to year, I mean, if it's anything near what we got out of Kelce last year, is this a worthy contract? I understand the legend of, the ring of Hall of Fame of the Chiefs
right
and blah, blah, blah. And I totally understand. My team has done it several times. I remember the last couple of years of Marino, and yes, it was with Jimmy Johnson. It was very sad to watch, but it was Dan Marino. You let that guy, all the years and things that you've done, Kelce's kind of done the same thing. He's been that franchise player at the position for the Chiefs for many years, but does the money match what you think you're going to get out of him, or is it just more of that legendary contract?
I think it's more of the legendary contract. We talked about it yesterday with the JSN contract and how lucrative that is. And you've heard it from guys like the Carr brothers. And I think they're 110% right. The cap salary is really just there for show. It goes up $20-30 million every single year. It's jumped over $100 million in 5-10 years.
Or those TV deals, yeah.
It really is going to get to a point where the NFL has so much money, they really have no idea what to do with it. And if you have a deal here where you can restructure it every single year, it gives you flexibility. If he does want to stay, I doubt he stays longer than a year or two, though. There's no way he plays out all 3 of these years, right?
I wouldn't expect it.
I mean, he's 36. If I'm not mistaken, which means he'd be pushing 40, and I might be even low on that. He might actually be in his 40s by the time his career is over. But I agree with you, Spark. I mean, we saw it last year. We kind of saw inklings of it the year before that. Does Travis still have what it takes to be one of the top tight ends in the NFL? I guess we'll find out, especially if he's not going to be playing with Patrick Mahomes for the first couple weeks, if not first half of the season. So we're really going to see if this money is going to be worth it for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that the idea of it being flexible like this, though, is the positive part of it and what makes it a Legends contract, because they want to do right by the guy. He obviously doesn't want to go play anywhere else, but at the same time, you have to make it lucratively appealing for him to stay. So if you throw most of the money in the first year, it doesn't hurt you in terms of cap salary the other two. And maybe you just have a grizzled vet who's there to teach the next tight end to be the next Travis Kelce. So I think that's really what they're thinking long term here, is if we can find a way to do right by this guy, keep him around for 2 to 3 more years until we could find a suitable replacement. That's a win for the Chiefs at this point. And there's still a lot of pieces that they need to pick up. I know they're probably going to pick up a ton of offensive linemen in this upcoming draft, especially with as high of a draft pick as they have in the first round. I mean, a safety for sure. They have not been the same secondary since Tyrann Mathieu retired.
And then what was it? They traded McDuffie.
Yep.
So they're going to need some corner help.
Absolutely. They lost both their corners.
That's right.
The Rams signed to the other guy too. So that secondary unit is going to be in shambles. I know we said this last year, but it's growing even more so in my mind this year. Chargers, Broncos, if you can't figure it out this year, wash it. It's not the team. I'm going to tell you right now, because this Kansas City Chiefs team now is playing without its lungs, without its legs, and without its heart until Patrick comes back and the heart comes back in. If you can't figure out a way to get out quick and push them to the bottom of the barrel, and I mean underneath the Raiders, you're in trouble.
I don't see that happening.
I don't either. I'm sure Andy Reid's going to keep them somewhat competitive.
I would expect Justin Field type ran offense. It'll be a lot of run heavy, short passes. I would tell you Kelce might be a key point in that. And I mean, it's the Chiefs. So as long as that coach is there, Andy Reid's there, I think they'll be in the midst of it until they need to. But that is the defense is what worries me, and obviously the offensive line.
We've said that about the defense the last couple of years, though, and they always find a way to put it together, whether it's Chris Jones's leadership or just the dogs that they find in free agency. They usually find a way to put it together. But I agree with you. The more concerning side of the ball is the defense.
Yeah, that secondary is scarce.
Yes, but on the offensive side of the ball, you're right. I mean, if you have Justin Fields out there, you're going to have a run-first offense at least. And there's not a lot of tight ends in the NFL, or really the NFL's history, that get open like Travis can. There always will be a play where Travis will find himself open 10, 15 yards down the field and get you a first down at the very least.
Are you surprised at all that they brought him back on such a bigger contract, or is it more of just keep feeding?
I was more surprised just at the length of the contract than anything. The money, not surprising at all. That just is how the NFL
with incentives works. They can get up to $15 million on this first year, which is great for him. Top heavy. That's what he's going to get.
Yes,
I would expect him to probably play it out this year, and if they get anywhere close, once Mahomes returns, if they're in the mix, and they're fighting for it, who knows? Because there's also other teams that were in the same situation, like the Steelers. No one knows what the hell the Steelers are doing until they're just waiting to hear from Rodgers.
And I'm starting to really feel bad for this team and for the fan base, because this is now 2 years in a row Aaron has kept you dangling, and he probably won't even make a decision until after training camp. He probably won't make a final move until after all the mandatory stuff, so he doesn't have to go to training camp. And I now no longer want to hear Aaron say it has nothing to do with that, because there's no possible way it's taking you this long twice to make this decision. 2 times. Just go do a darkness retreat like you did last time and figure it out.
You got a new coach. You got some new coaching regime. You got some new receiver. I mean, you got some talent around you.
You're killing the Pittsburgh Steelers' chances, though. You really are. Unless, like I said, he really is locked in on Will Howard being the next guy, and he wants to make sure Pittsburgh has no other options outside of Will to give him that shot. It'd be a weird way to go about it, but for some reason I could see Aaron Rodgers doing something.
Yeah, if anybody's going to do it, it'll be him.
And McCarthy came out, I believe, yesterday or today and said he would love to have the chance to coach Aaron again and have Aaron on the team again. It'd be a great story for Pittsburgh. I think that the water is under the bridge when it comes to the relationship that they had in Green Bay. I think that they're pretty much over all of that. So maybe this would be a good thing for Pittsburgh and McCarthy's first year to have somebody that he's at least, he's worked with once or twice. So it would actually make the transition easier.
I'm reaching out to Steeler fans. I know we've got a couple of them.
Yep.
Do you guys really think it's worth the wait for Pittsburgh, or are they risking it all with a 42-year-old, 43-year-old free agent quarterback?
There's a lot of former Pittsburgh players right now that are coming out and saying that this is ridiculous and why are we waiting this long?
Last year I heard them from the same, like, we're not expecting to win a Super Bowl. Then what are you doing?
Yeah, and that's hogwash, by the way. That's absolute horse. There's no Pittsburgh Steeler fan on the planet that doesn't expect a Super Bowl.
I know two of them. As soon as they signed Rodgers, they're like, we're not going anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They were out and they immediately started blaming the coach. I'm like, it's not Tomlin's fault.
No.
That Rodgers, his ego.
Tomlin didn't go out and demand to sign Aaron Rodgers.
And Tomlin was with whatever organization that they wanted upstairs, and he was going to roll with. What other coach would you want?
I don't think Steeler fans really are understanding how different this is going to be.
You think he wanted Mason Rudolph for that season he coached? Come on. And he turned that team into a winning record every year. And I'll stand behind Mike Tomlin until the day I die. Same. Because all the crap that he had to deal with in Pittsburgh, I'm surprised he didn't retire earlier.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, he should have. He absolutely could have gotten away with it, but he wanted to stay and continue his, coaching at in Pittsburgh. I don't think Pittsburgh fans are really taking into account how different this is going to be when you guys have your first losing season in almost 2 decades next year. I don't think you guys realize what's coming. You guys have had a beautiful, beautiful stretch where you've never had to deal with a rebuild. Teams like my team and the Falcons, Sparky's team and the Dolphins. Nice new lid, by the way.
We've seen it.
All the time.
So do you think, it was big news when the offseason started and Baltimore fired their coach, Pittsburgh fired their coach, a couple months past that happening. What team do you think fits better right now going into the a month away from the draft?
Solely in the AFC North, or are
just solely between those two teams?
Between those two, Baltimore.
Exactly.
Hands down. Baltimore is still now.
Is it because of the quarterback, or is it because the big moves that they've made?
I personally think it was just the setup of the roster already makes it unfair because Baltimore had a better roster going into this. But both teams have made substantial moves. Pittsburgh bringing in a brand new wide receiver who's going to be great in Michael Pittman. Obviously, Baltimore going out and getting Trey Hendrickson was supposed to have Max Crosby, but that fell through. I think Baltimore still looks better, though. I do. I think the roster itself, the potential of playing with guys like Lamar Jackson, I think the team is better off than Pittsburgh, but I've been surprised before when it comes to this AFC North division. For all we know, it could be the Cleveland Browns next year winning the division.
Who knows?
So at this point, it really is going to come down to what these coaches can make out of this roster. If there are 2 coaches that can get the most out of it, I would assume it would be McCarthy and Minter. But if we're going to go based off what I'm looking at right now, how the roster is structured, how the team is looking, and how the front office is handling the offseason, Baltimore all day.
So overall with the AFC, not just those 2 teams, I was looking over the Vegas odds going into the draft, where they fit, in the AFC. AFC on the top right now with what rosters look like. They've got Buffalo at the top
every year.
I'm like, really?
Look, man,
really?
You know this better than everybody. You give me constant grief about my love for Josh Allen. I get it. Massive Josh Allen.
He's a good quarterback.
Massive Josh Allen.
But on paper?
But why are we putting Buffalo at the top every year? If we're going to be sitting here talking about a team that's got question marks on the defensive side of the ball,
right?
The one that just shipped away everybody, like, what are we talking about?
With a new coaching regime, I get it.
And what, DJ Moore coming in is going to be
that was the game changer?
I'm so tired of that, by the way. Look, man, I got respect for DJ Moore in his game, especially for all the stuff he's had to go through.
And I'm sure it'll be a great year with him and Josh Allen, but I don't think it's going to be as big as everyone is expecting.
No.
Because that offensive line is still jacked and that defense has got holes everywhere.
And he was on Chicago for 2 years with Caleb Williams. And I argue again, and all of you, or I shouldn't say all of you, some of you may think I'm an idiot for saying it, but I still never saw the chemistry that was required between a QB1 and a wide receiver 1 between Caleb and DJ. Whether that was on one of their faults or just the coaching's fault, I don't know. But there's nothing in my head that leads me to believe DJ's just going to turn that around with Josh Allen. I mean, he made key plays in the season. I'm not saying he wasn't pivotal and he had a solid season for a wide receiver, but there were plenty of games throughout last season where it looked like Rome Odunze was the number 1, Luther Burden was the number 1. Shoot, Cole Kmet and Loveland looked like a number 1. DJ never looked like the number 1 to me, ever. But that was just me. And I watched a lot of Chicago games.
It took Rome's injury to even remember that he was still on that team.
Exactly.
For that first month or so.
And again, not trying to throw shade at DJ Moore. He's a fantastic wide receiver and probably has the talent to be a wide receiver 1. But until I see him actually mesh with a quarterback, I'm not going to say he's a game changer for anybody.
No, and I'm sure the hell I'm not going to put him over a team like Baltimore.
Absolutely not.
And I mean, and the young teams that are getting better. New England. Yeah. I mean, New England's got some holes that they're going to fill. And I still think they're going to go after a wide receiver 1, or if they don't have that gem in their mind in the draft already.
And here's the thing. You brought up New England. Until I could see Buffalo beat New England twice in 1 year, there's no way New England's at the top of this list. And we've already seen it. Drake May might have their number already. His name is Mike Vrabel.
And there's other quarterback changes over in New England, too. They got rid of Dobbs yesterday, which wasn't that big of a surprise, but it just brought up this question because now their backup quarterback, I know everybody was talking about, how Drake May looked a little shaken up towards the end of that season.
Happens.
And it happens. He's young. But now a quarterback 2 in New England is now Tommy DeVito. Do you think Tommy DeVito is a quality quarterback 2, or do you think they still go after a vet?
Honestly, jury's still out when it comes to Tommy DeVito. I love the story of Tommy DeVito. I loved when he was the starter, or at least got starting nods in New York. But it's hard really to gauge whether you can find a backup quarterback with more talent, because obviously the ones that have the most talent are looking for starting jobs. I think Tommy is a very safe choice as a backup quarterback. But is he really going to come in and shine when you need him to, or take this team to where Drake could? Probably not. But again, that's not necessarily fair to Tommy because they have different skill sets.
And the coaches see what they see in practice as
so
a quarterback 2 or 3.
Then I believe in him.
I think he's an upgrade over Dobbs.
Yes.
Just because we've seen that guy in every other damn team.
True, but Dobbs has a brilliant mind. I mean, we're talking about a fighter pilot right now. This man is a brilliant individual. But you're right. I mean, he's never really transitioned into a star, or at least a competent backup quarterback like he was when he was in college.
Yeah.
So,
and one more I wanted to bring up before we took our break is Bridgewater back in Detroit for the 3rd, 4th time.
Look, man, we talk about it. We may crack jokes, but they're still signing him.
Yeah.
Which means there's got to be something there.
And Coach Campbell said this guy's having another coach plus a backup quarterback in our team. We're going to take him every day.
Exactly what I was about to bring up. The guy has experience as a coach now. Now, granted, it was high school, but it's still, he's getting in the coaching ranks. I guarantee you the year he retires, he'll probably get picked up in the NFL as a quarterback coach. We might be seeing Teddy Bridgewater as a coach later on in his life as a head coach in the NFL. Like that's how.
And it very well could start in Detroit.
It could. It absolutely could. Well, they would have to fire Dan Campbell, but at the same time,
quarterback coach. I mean,
as a quarterback coach, absolutely.
I don't think anyone's saying Campbell away.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant head coach. It was like, I don't know if they're going to fire Campbell right away like that, but absolutely. A quarterback.
We've seen other quarterbacks that didn't make it in as big starters, but they had, that mindset. We've seen Greasy. We've seen other quarterbacks that came in and were great quarterback coaches.
I just want to sit down with Teddy and ask him, why with the gloves, bro? Like, I've watched you since your days at Louisville. I loved watching you in college. But is it because the hands are too small? Be honest. Like, I'm cool with it if that's the reason. but I've always looked at Teddy and said, 2 gloves? 2 glove Teddy?
Yeah, I hated it in Miami.
Why? What's happening right now, man? Like, Kurt Warner did that for a little bit, but they were linebacker gloves. These are wide receiver gloves. I don't know. That was just me. That's always been my niche when it comes to Teddy Bridgewater. I love the guy though. I think he's a fantastic quarterback, or at least a backup quarterback. And Detroit's right. You're getting a coach and a potential backup quarterback in the same deal. So I don't see that as a negative, especially since the best we've ever seen from Detroit, they've had how many head coaches on the staff? Just saying, more head coaches could mean this could make this job a lot easier for guys like Dan. Just throwing that out there. Let's take a break real quick. We'll get into some other stuff as well before we start talking a little wrestling at 8 o'clock with our guy KG. Tiger Woods is making his return to golf to potentially save his golf team's chances against the LA Golf Club. I believe today or tomorrow. We'll break that down. Plus, I do want to get into a little bit more about these comments from the head coach of the Syracuse women's basketball team. Lost by 50 yesterday to UConn. And this is, I believe, their 4th or 5th time they've had to face UConn in the second round of the tournament in the last 9-10 years. And they're not very happy about it. So no chance in hell. To be fair, though, I don't think any women's team really has a chance in hell when it comes to UConn. Let's take a break. We'll talk more about that on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Am I the only one that hears this song and immediately think of the Triple X movie? Still one of the best openings to any action movie, in my opinion. But technically, I mean, no, I'm not going to go down this route. There's way too many. There are far too many action movies that have incredible intros. Welcome back to the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. Before the break, I'll let you guys know Tiger Woods will be making his competitive return to golf to hopefully save his TGL team from elimination today. He takes on the LA Golf Club along with Max Homa and, oh, Lord, Tom Kim. Tom Kim will be the third one. And if you haven't heard of TGL, it's known as the Tomorrow's Golf League. It's actually group play when these guys are playing outside of the PGA. Pretty entertaining if you're a golf fan. I'm not sure exactly where you could find it on television to watch. I'm sure it's on the Golf Channel, but it's groups of 3 and they just battle it out just like everybody else in group play. If you've been part of many tournaments where you have a group of your guys, you just kind of see what happens and who has the better shot. Yesterday, they lost very, very tightly on a birdie putt by Mr. Thigala of the LA Golf Club. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see Tiger back in some sort of competitive nature in the world of golf. It's been quite some time, especially after the accident, his back surgeries. I mean, people are still trying to figure out if he's going to even be at the Masters this year, which is coming up. We'll talk about that when we get to it. I don't think he does, though. The Masters is a completely different animal. And if you are a golf fan, you know that course is so rough on a lot of different golfers. And I don't think people also, or at least casual golfers, don't realize these guys do all of this without a cart. You have to walk the whole course. Like, if you're a golfer, or even if you're not, and you just want to see how hard it is for those people who don't think golf is a sport, go out there with a whole bag of clubs and walk the course. Don't take a cart, walk it.
The gym's not a sport.
I'd argue it kind of is. Lifting weights is athletic.
There's difference between athletics and sports.
True. But my point is that there is a massive physical demand when it comes to professional golf that people don't take into account.
I'm sure. I still don't think it's a sport. But
no, again, a lot of people
I could tell. I mean, I went out and golfed. It's a nice workout.
Oh, yeah. And again, that's my point. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and say that you're wrong in terms of your thoughts of it not being a sport.
Oh, I get it. I just had to deal with a lot of people trying to tell me, if just because you get off the couch and play, a little putt-putt in your living room, that it's a sport.
Well, no, see, that is not a sport. Going and playing putt-putt golf over here at MB2 does not qualify.
Just because you have a putt-putt setup that rolls out in your living room doesn't mean you're an athletic person.
If you grab a set of clubs, you go out to BCC or Stockdale, I'll give you that
play a full-on course.
Exactly, but not putt-putt, okay? Like, that's not what we're here to do. But regardless, I mean, again, it's just going to be fun to see Tiger back in some sort of competitive nature if you're a golf fan. I love watching Tiger compete no matter what, although it has been kind of rough these last couple of years for obvious reasons. But at this point, I think that this is what the TGL also needs to kind of put more eyes on it, because I don't know a lot of people that know about the TGL, or that most of the people that are taking place in the TGL are also PGA or live golfers. So it's kind of just more golf if you're into that kind of a thing. But if you're a Tiger fan, you can check him out tonight as he tries with Jupiter, I believe is the Jupiter Lynx is the name of his team out there in Florida, take on the LA golf team today. I'm not 100% sure where you could check it out. I'm assuming on Golf TV or any of those. We'll most likely have something for you there. The other story I wanted to get to, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this too, my friend. We talked about it a little bit, but the women's side of the bracket and the March Madness tournament is going right now. Yesterday, we talked about just how competitive a lot of these men's games have been. Well, on the women's side, UConn dominates. Has for how long, Sparky? Almost 20 years? I mean, it's been quite some time. These women don't lose. I mean, I'm a USC fan, and I will sit there and hope and pray that my Trojans one day will be able to take down the Giant, but even I don't believe that that's on the docket for them. But after beating Syracuse by 50 yesterday, a game that literally saw a 55-12 lead at halftime, I mean, can we just, here you go. Here's the trophy. Just everybody go home. UConn wins. 50-point drop on Syracuse is insane. But the talking point out of this was Syracuse's head coach, Felicia Leggett-Jack, former player herself at Syracuse, very vocal about her displeasure with the NCAA bracketology people and the people who make these brackets.
So what's her spin with it?
She doesn't like the fact that they've had to play UConn 4 times in the last 9 years in the second round. They always end up in the same bracket as them. Now, from a coaching perspective, there are 2 different sides to this, in my opinion. One, I feel for her because, yes, when you have to go after the juggernaut every other year in the second round, it's really hard to be successful. Totally understand that. But like I said at the beginning of this show, when you face the juggernaut who has had the same coach and the same style of play 4 times in 9 years in the second round of the tournament, and that's only in the tournament. That's not counting games that you potentially played against them in the regular season. You still lost by 50.
Right.
50.
You're not prepared. To beat the best, you got to be the best, right?
Exactly. So at what point do we look at you, Felicia, and say, can you even get the job done? Because what's the difference between playing them in the second round or getting put on the opposite side of the bracket? You maybe make it to the finals, and then you get embarrassed by 60 in the final game.
Exactly. In the championship.
What's the difference? So
you're still going to complain about it.
I get why she's complaining, and she has all the right to, because again, facing the juggernaut 4 times in 9 years, that's rough. But losing to a team by 50 last night, I think you hit the nail on the head, my friend. You weren't prepared. You were not prepared.
What about all those, teams that, that's why, all the teams that had to play the Patriots over those years, or the Niners, or, what else do you want?
Right. It's the competitive part of sports. It's a chess match. All the best coaches know that. How do I beat this coach today? That's really what it boils down to in your job. You haven't done it.
You're going to make a separate bracket?
Right.
And just call it the UConn bracket?
Point, just deny the March Madness bracket because you know you're going to be in UConn, and you just go get the NIT done.
That's not the type of mindset I want from a coach that I'm going in and working my ass off to play for.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that was going to be my next question. If you are one of the women that are playing for the Syracuse Orange right now, or really just the Syracuse Orange in general, trying to figure out the future of their program, and you're hearing your head coach just complain on the post show rather than just sitting there and taking responsibility, how does that make you feel? Because all I'm seeing is my coach is just going to sit there and complain when we lose, and then probably turn around and somehow blame it on us.
Yep.
And how we're not providing for her. And today's sports, they'll turn around and say, well, my front office isn't giving me enough money to pay these people.
Well, exactly.
Or my players aren't going to step up to
blame
play.
The sponsors, blame the coaching,
right?
The whole team. I mean, that really hurts her personality, and if anyone else is going to hire her in the future.
And it's not like Syracuse is a bum.
No.
Syracuse is one of the most, or at least in my opinion, and you guys, again, feel free to text in and call me an idiot if I'm wrong, 661-842-2000. We'll gladly hear anybody give me grief for it. But is Syracuse not one of the more coveted basketball schools in the country? I mean, on both men and women. And the men's side's getting a lot of grief this year, too. Jim Boeheim has come out and said that the only reason they fired their head coach this year is because the team gave up on him. He actually blames the athletes for why Autry got fired. And there might be some validity to that. But when you're a coach, you have to figure out a way to get around hurdles, to get over mountains, to motivate your team, to be that team, to beat the juggernaut, not complain that you have to see the juggernaut every year in the second round. And if this really is some sort of sting operation of the NCAA against Syracuse, I don't see it. I really don't. I don't see why they would be punishing Syracuse when all they're really trying to do is make this stuff competitive and put 2 of the more well-known schools against each other so people actually watch the women's side of the bracket. I don't know, but that's just me.
I did see there is one perfect bracket still left, but it's in the women's. And there is only
I was like,
one.
I looked that up yesterday, and I thought they said it was done.
One. They had 3 in the men that ended over the weekend.
What do you get for a perfect women's bracket?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to find that.
That's interesting because men's bracket you get like $1 billion or something like that.
Yeah, there was 36 million in the men's, and there was cut down to 3, and all 3 lost over the weekend.
Maybe we should do that next year, Sparky. We're going to say hogwash to the men's bracket. We'll do a women's bracket instead. I love it. I think that maybe we could be the perfect brackets next year. I don't know. That's cool though. I mean, again, anybody who could be a Nostradamus in the time of March Madness, all the more power to you, brother. All the more power to you, because there are so many games where I sit there and think this could be it. This could be the one, and it's a stinker. So all the more power to you. I couldn't do it. I'd still know what he wins though if he does get a perfect, because again, we put all the glory behind perfect men's bracket.
I'm trying to find out a picture of, of the bracket.
Of the bracket itself. They probably don't have it, to be honest. I don't know. Let's take a break and maybe we can dive into that and find it for him, because I am curious. I would assume they have UConn winning the whole dang shebang, but maybe they don't. Maybe they got an upset coming in the final. Let's take a break. We'll talk about that, and we'll get into some wrestling as well. The WWE was in Boston yesterday. You got a sighting of Derek White and Joe Mazzulla. That was kind of cool. I think Mazzulla actually is a wrestling fan. Those elbows, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Let's take a break. We'll talk about that and much more. Plus, we got KG coming up at 8, and we got a whole ton of other stuff to talk about in the world of football as well. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Tommy Gun on YouTube's got me worried.
It's the dead man's birthday.
Is it really?
61.
God, could you imagine standing next to this man, though? I know on television he looks like a normal-sized dude. He is not.
No.
He is not at all. Take him for somebody that I've met Shaq in real life. I really have. He was at a hookah
He's
bar.
A monster.
He was at a hookah bar that my buddy's parents owned, and we were there at the time. And he hung out with us, took pictures with us and stuff. Great dude. Awesome guy.
Nicest guy in the world.
Nicest guy in the world. But he could palm your head.
Yes.
He could literally palm you like a basketball. It's very creepy. Like, we took a picture with him, and he did it to my buddies, and I sat there and looked at it, and thank God I didn't stand next to you, because if he did that to me, I would have freaked.
He's creepy. Not creepy, but it's creepy size.
Yes.
I met him when he came to Bakersfield for his hip-hop artist, when he released his album when I first got into radio, and he was doing a show at Aldo's, and he is he's a massive of a individual. Man. I met Yao Ming in Hollywood, and that guy, wow. Like, meeting Shaq and then meeting Yao Ming, obviously the size difference is amazing.
I'm Bobo. I'm like,
jeez Louise.
Like, did they just take you in a taffy stretcher?
It's insane.
I did.
And we did get some report out of the NFL announcing that the Buccaneers have informed they will have a press conference later this afternoon regarding Levante David. And there might be some rumors that he is stepping away from the NFL.
Oh.
So not only losing Mike Evans, but can you imagine they lose Levante David? Because he's been a hardcore middle core piece of that defense for years.
I have to remind myself that I have to be unbiased on this show. I cannot show my...
I saw that smirk.
I know. I'm sitting there thinking, yes! I mean, oh, damn, darn. Love watching Levante play. Oh, man, the best linebacker on that team is not going to be playing. That means, Vita Vea has to do everything by himself. Oh, dang.
Gosh.
Darn it. Thank God my quarterback doesn't have two good knees. He can't be running from people like that. I mean,
and back to the women's bracket. There is $1 billion on the line if you can get a perfect bracket.
See, again, I think we should do it next year. I think we should totally do a women's bracket.
Wouldn't we?
I know. I'm going to put the men's bracket up right here and the women's right next to it.
Come on, Randizzle.
At least we know who's going to win the championship. It's always going to be UConn. Every year it's going to be UConn. I'm sorry. That's how it works. After Tennessee handed off the torch, it has been UConn ever dang since. And until UConn is ready to hand that off to somebody else, which they're never going to do.
And talking some notes and newsworthy stuff out of women's basketball. There's a cool moment for Team USA. Caitlin Clark is taking over the legendary jersey number. She'll wear number 12 internationally.
Really?
Which was a big topic. It's the same number worn by Diana. And she passed it along. Said no problem with it.
This kind of ties into what we talked about the other day, though, when it comes to jersey
passing
numbers.
The torch.
And everybody being up in arms about the Patriots not stopping Dobbs from taking 87. It's not that serious, yo. Like, you know what's funny? Right after we talked about that, I can't remember who Matt Barnes was talking to on All the Smoke, but they were talking to two baseball players. And you know what? No, it was oh God, I could see him now. 44 for the Reds, not Ellie. The older, the legend. I'm sorry. I know baseball fans are screaming at me right now, and feel free to text it and tighten me up. But he was talking to him and how they pretty much didn't retire his number and how athletes really do want that. Like, they really want that. And I'm sure there's a sense of pride that comes to it. I'm not saying that there isn't, but it's just a number, dude. Like, unless it's part of your brand, I really can't sit there and say that it's more important than the name on the front of the jersey or the name of the back. I still think that's really what it boils down to at the end of the day.
Yeah, and especially when we got into the Matt Leinart, that's different. It's college, and
Matt has a weird little caveat here because there is no name on the front or the back of the USC jerseys.
And that's where I've gotten a lot of players come out and say, dude, it's really not about the name. I mean, that's all it is the name.
Yeah, it's not about
you could take away the numbers and just put up the names. Yes, exactly. And I know the Dolphins have done that for years, but they also put the number by it.
Right.
I think with the future of this sport, with not an ending in sight,
right,
I think that's probably the smartest thing for teams to do.
And you can still put the number next to the name. Like if you put up and retire people like Matt Leinart, number 11, all you would really need to use that for is differentiate if two guys had the same last name. If there's two Millers that you've retired, okay, Miller number 55. Okay, we all know that's this Miller, not that Miller. That's really what the easiest part I can make it out to. But that does kind of tie into, at least on the women's side, they clearly don't care that much. But I don't think the number situation should be that big of a deal. I really don't. But again, I'm not the athlete giving away their number.
Right. And I liked what Matt Leinart said. He had mentioned, I'll pass it on with one of my sons
if they decide to go to USC.
That's the perfect way to do it. And there is some more reports. I guess teams are not leaning up against the Cowboy or the Raiders and Max Crosby. Adam Schefter just put out a report saying the Cowboys are still going hard to try to get Max Crosby. The most recent package that they would be sending over their number 12 pick of this year's draft and a 2027 second round pick. It's still not going to happen, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm looking for my guarantee. I'm looking for
it. The Raiders have turned down all three offers down and went with the Ravens package of the 2 first-round picks. And until they get a 2 first-round pick offer, it is not on the table.
I'm looking for all the sense in the world that this is making it. It's not there. No, Max ain't going anywhere.
No,
he's staying in Vegas.
Unless you're going to cough up some number 1 picks.
Look, here's the thing. If they do trade Max away, especially for less than they were going to get from Baltimore, you look stupid. And honestly, the football gods are going to make you look even stupider for the next decade if you do that.
I think if anybody was going to put on the gas pedal before the draft, it would be Dallas.
Yes, 100%. But that's just Jerry. That's
exactly.
Jerry ball.
Like, exactly.
That's what
He'll
Jerry
take that
does.
risk.
Right. Just let it be. I don't think he's going to get it to happen or make it happen. I'm sure at the trade deadline, this is just going to be a talking point, but he ain't going anywhere, man. It's not happening. The football gods right it or wrong. And I think Tom needs to sit Mr. Davis down and say, let's have a chat, big dog. Like, he ain't going anywhere. Did you see the reaction when we did it the first time? The fans, the players on the team, the players that are no longer on the team that were saying, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, let's listen to those voices. You're already figuring out a whole, a settlement situation for whenever you want to retire. Let's leave some of the decision-making up to us. Because Max don't need to be going nowhere. And I swear, if they send him anywhere, I'm going to be so disappointed covering that team next year, walking into that locker room knowing Max ain't here. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to love talking to Fernando. I think that kid's going to be absolutely amazing. But
I'm glad you brought that up because there's not a lot of, I know it happens every year around this time before the draft, but now a lot of these reporters are coming out thinking, oh, well, I think Ty Simpson could be the better pick.
I've seen that. Unsportsmanlike was bringing that up the other day. I said, come on, guys.
I know you guys got to promote and get people to watch it.
And we're creating talking points. I get
nothing.
That. But come on. Don't get me wrong. Ty's a fantastic quarterback, and I'm sure he's going to find a home that's going to love him. Whether that's the Jets or, I don't know, maybe the Dolphins, maybe, I don't know, maybe Atlanta. But to say he's better than Fernando is wildly inaccurate. Fernando,
maybe it's Pittsburgh, maybe it's New England.
Yeah. Honestly, Pittsburgh, I think, should take the shot. Even if you don't, or even if you get Aaron back, you don't lose anything if you bring on a guy like Ty Simpson. You really don't. Because when Aaron leaves, now you have a quarterback competition between two competent young quarterbacks. Whichever one wins is the one you keep. The other one you can use as trade value.
With another year or two under their belt?
Absolutely. So you really don't lose anything from drafting a guy like Ty Simpson mid-first round. So I think that's something they could and should consider. But will it happen? Probably not. They're probably
number
going to look
one.
at defense. Yeah, he's still not the number one overall
He's
choice.
not the number one pick.
If the Raiders made a wild decision and took anybody other than Fernando Mendoza at number one, I would expect a press conference from Tom, Mr. Davis, Coach Kubiak, and everybody in that front office explaining exactly what happened and why you chose somebody other than Fernando. Because the fans will riot in Vegas. And all those brand new stadiums and stuff you just built, the Sphere might be coming down. You brought on you brought on the Oakland Raiders to come to Vegas. And the fans will not stay silent. Guaranteed. Let's take a break. We got to talk about a little wrestling as Raw was in Boston yesterday, and they'll be headed to Madison Square Garden next week as well. So we'll talk to our guy, 24 kg, on the other side about all of that. This is the early bird special. It's about 5 minutes. Be right back.
That heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And at a new pineapple.
Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. on the dead man's birthday. But it is a Tuesday, 8 o'clock, so we were going to talk wrestling anyway. It's time to call our guy, 24KG. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. I didn't get to see you at the tournament yesterday, though.
Yes.
Sides of each other.
It was a lot of fun.
It was probably on purpose.
Yeah, they keep trouble away from trouble.
I mean, look, man, they
They already know what they get on Tuesdays. So
this is true. This is true. If they
All
have
right, let's keep these guys over there, man. Too much laughing.
Too much good times. That's what it is. But you can never have too much of a good time at a golf tournament. I'm just saying. But we got to talk wrestling, my friend, because not only was last night in Boston fantastic, but Friday night on SmackDown was a lot of fun as well. We got to see a forming of a new faction in the women's.
Yes, indeed.
What name are we giving these women? Because I mean, Jade Cargill, Meacham, and BFAB. It's a group that we probably should have saw coming a long time ago, but they finally actually, showed their true colors on Friday, taking Rhea down. What are we calling these women?
Well, you could call them all past victims of Rhea Ripley.
True.
You could call them that. But nonetheless, yeah, there's a lot of people that could fill those roster slots right there as far as victims of Rhea Ripley. But I think the term is either the terrorizers or the tormentors, something like that. But I believe baddies was already used in AEW, so they can't transfer that over. But we're going to get some kind of name for that faction, and I'm excited to see it.
Hear me out on this. Terrorizers isn't bad.
It's a throw to Triple H. It's a throw to Triple H.
I think that's a good name for the three of them. Plus, all three of them have the same kind of mentality, so they love to terrorize the women's division. I think that's a great way to look at it. But what does this mean for that match at WrestleMania? Is there going to be interference, in your opinion? And if so,
most definitely.
Who's Rhea going to have to get to intercept this?
Well, even if she doesn't have anyone intercepted, I think because the way Rhea's character is built, she can overcome all this. You know what I mean? If they want to put the strap back on her, it's not a bad decision. It's not a good decision. It's just a decision to move the title forward because we've seen Rhea Ripley in this picture before. But going back to last night, before we do anything else about SmackDown, because SmackDown was phenomenal. I'm going to keep it real. We're in WrestleMania season. I caught SmackDown. I was very impressed with how the show was delivered. But last night in Boston, Raw was a 10 out of 10 for me. I could critique it in some other ways and say, 9.2, but that would just be me being a stickler. But seeing the improvements in the show, I can't deny. Just 10 out of 10 last night was phenomenal. To quote AJ Styles, pun intended. Yes, indeed. But from the opening segment with Brock and Oba down to the Vision and Uso segment, the Punk and Roman segment, we got to talk about that. We got to get to that. And just some reports that I've seen this morning about Braun Breaker possibly being ready for WrestleMania, reporting to the PC for a health evaluation and clearance. It's something I think as wrestling fans, we're all happy to hear.
So I saw something online that didn't really show on television. I don't know if they edited it, but did they drop Braun's name in that little interaction between Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman? Did Braun's name get brought up?
Yeah,
it was either Braun Breaker or Braun Strowman. Not Strowman, excuse me.
He brought up Bronson and Braun.
Yeah, I thought so. When I watched that initially, when it was live, I heard him say Braun. But if you go back and watch it, like if you were replaying it, it's not there anymore. They cut it out.
I will just go with,
unless my Netflix just tripped. I'm
with
not
Heyman,
sure.
Because Heyman was hinting, okay, maybe Braun's coming back. And then he also hinted where I thought Gunther was going to come out because he started talking about the retirement of wrestlers. And he said, I've gotten my issue. And I was just waiting for Gunther to come out when Seth was standing on the stage on the side. And I'm like, okay, maybe all these rumors that Gunther is going to step in and do like a fill-in. But I think it's really setting up for the return of Braun.
It would make all the sense in the world that maybe a week or two before WrestleMania, we get Braun coming out as one of those masked men that is supposed
Gunther
to be
as a backup.
I don't think it really fits in this story.
I think Gunther will be the back if none of those wrestlers are healthy to do it.
That's fair.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Gunther because seeing as how he doesn't have a WrestleMania booking or opponent, I believe the original plan was for him and Rey Mysterio to do the retirement angle. But since Mysterio has suffered 2 fractured ribs, deeply fractured ribs, he won't be ready till, I believe, Clash in Italy, if they're doing it in Italy this year. So, unfortunately, these things happen. And what a waste. What a waste. They did all this with Gunther, and we haven't seen him on television for weeks, and we've got nothing for WrestleMania.
Well, that might be on purpose, though, because, again, he doesn't really fit in a lot of these stories. You can't just
unfortunately
go in the middle of any of it. And maybe they're just kind of giving everybody that break they've wanted from him retiring legends. Because, I mean, we're running out of legends for him to retire at the moment anyway. Jericho still has not made his debut or his return to WWE. I don't know.
Thanks to Tony Khan.
I'm assuming that's going to happen at Mania, but who knows? And now we're getting rumor that Rey Mysterio is contemplating his retirement, but they're talking about that at Clash in Italy, which doesn't make sense to me. I think if you're going to do a retirement match for Rey, do it at AAA. Do it at one of the biggest things.
I've been saying that.
Dude, it makes so much sense to me that they sit there and just say, let's just at the biggest event that AAA has. The name of it escapes me, so I couldn't tell you what it is right now.
Key word there, Chris. You said what makes sense. Sometimes logic escapes some of these plans when it comes to the public. But let's retire AJ Styles in Saudi Arabia, for Christ's sake. The WWE does weird stuff. Hey, last night we seen some weird stuff said between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. CM Punk really took some personal shots at the Usos, the Anoa'i family, and I love it for the simple fact that it's blurring the line of what we know as kayfabe and Unreal and all these other things that they reveal so much with. It gave you a nice little taste of real vitriol, real just animosity between these guys, a stemming professional rivalry that goes all the way back to when they first started teaming together and working together with, was it Hell in a Cell or Survivor Series a couple times ago? Things that they alluded to in these promos that we're seeing. It's great TV, and if it takes bringing back the Bloodline or a version of the original Bloodline for people to be interested in Monday Night Raw, I'm all for it. It seems like it's being done right, and it's not being overplayed. We've seen things get overplayed very quickly, and then thus we're here talking about it. People are online fussing about it. It creates discussion points. But I feel like we are really on a good track to WrestleMania. Last night I was hooting and hollering at that last segment. I mean, hey, it takes a lot to get to me. We've seen it all in our time watching Raw over the years. And I think they really start to tap into that magic that keeps us attracted to the show.
Right. I think the next 3 or 4 weeks, I think there'll be more. I mean, they're starting to season some other matches. I personally, I never thought I would say this, but I think I'm going to go with this AJ Becky match.
You're kidding.
Is going to be probably a good one. I'm going to say Becky gets that title.
Hold up. Before we get on this,
we heard it. I know. Go ahead.
What flipped you?
I just think Becky's she's rolling right now, and I think this is a chance for her to get this title and get over all this. And I think the only way that they're going to be able to end this story is Becky getting the title and moving on.
See, I disagree. I think Becky losing is the way you kind of end this because, again, I've said it a couple times.
Well, they could have done that already.
True.
2 or 3 times.
True. But again, I think it's more they know that the marquee matchup is AJ and Becky at Mania. And then after that, you get to set the stage for all of the women that I was talking about before that haven't gotten a shot at this thing. Your Roxanne Perez's and all of these other that probably should have the title at some point in their careers.
Definitely.
And you get to flush out those stories because AJ is not going to be here long term.
No,
she's not going to be here very long. So if she can use this time to really bolster women that she's already helped grow to where they are already and give them essentially the title runs that they need as heels, I think that's the best part.
I think she had a rough patch last week with Bayley. because there was times of those matches where they went to break real quick and it looked like the ref was like checking on her throughout the match. And we saw that in a couple matches last night with, what was it, the Evans match?
Yep.
The other one was the whole Dirty Dom and Finn. I think that would be a perfect match for one of those open matches for WrestleMania.
So I was thinking about that, and there's a question in the YouTube chat we're going to get to too that goes back to the bloodline conversation. But since you brought up Dom and Finn, now I know everybody wants Finn Balor to hold that Intercontinental title. It's been on the internet for months. But what do you think the likelihood is, KG, that Finn gets a shot at the AAA Mega Championship? And potentially
Very likely.
Because
he's already done work in he's done work in AAA. He's familiar down there. If they were to bring the Demon down to AAA, phenomenal response. You're looking for a great pop. It can happen, but there is a higher likelihood that it could not happen.
Right.
For the simple fact that on WWE main event television, they have other plans with that. You know, they don't really include it in it being defended, but you see it visibly. Now, if that's going to work around into something where we revisit a rematch with Penta and Dom for the IC title that includes Finn, I could see that working. But for right now, Dom is AAA's bread and butter when it also Grande Americano.
Yeah, I was just about to
this guy just dropped a phenomenal promo at Rey of Reyes, their promotion of King of Kings, which put him over as a super baby face. He's literally pulling babies out of the crowd and shaking hands like a politician. This guy can do no wrong down there. But back to Finn, I think it's a very high chance that you see him contend for it, but win it, no.
No, I'd see again. I think that could be a good alleyway though to make him a main event champion again.
And Finn, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but Finn is also fluent in speaking Spanish.
Yes, well, again, we're talking about
could work.
Who's been around the world and has worked in every single country. That was
exactly
kind of what they were trying to press in his matches against CM Punk. Was true in America. CM Punk is known as the best in the world, but technically, let's go out of country. And it's Finn Balor.
You were going to say Finn Balor.
Yeah, it is absolutely Finn Balor. So that's why I think that there is a good chance that they make him the mega champion down there, if not for just a short time, to put a good sized belt on him for a good amount of time, if that makes sense.
It could happen.
The other thing that I want to bring up, and Tommy Gunn brought it up in the chat, so I wanted to make sure that this got said, but what side is LA Knight on in all of this Roman Reigns, CM Punk debacle? Because he is helping the Usos, but he also is kind of making Jay look like his old right-hand man self, if not the next tribal chief, because that's what I saw yesterday when he looked at Roman.
Oh, yeah.
You better get him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. And got back in the ring and made sure it happened.
It didn't take much.
Is Jay the one that's going to be given the Ulafala at the end of all of this? And what side is it?
I would have to say, honestly, because that segment, it gave me goosebumps. If my cousin was yelling at me to get somebody like that, we would not be having this show right now. It made you feel those real, just vibrations of violence last night that really, I'd have to say, is known with the bloodline and how they do things. But to answer your question, I think LA Knight is going to side with CM Punk. It's even though he's friends with the Usos. Friends does not mean how you conduct business is the same or how you or hang out with your friends on screen. I think that this has been one elaborate work to expose Roman as you need help, and it's going to backfire on CM Punk so bad. So bad. I see how they're doing this. Oh, I'm the old man, but you got to get past me. I knocked you on your butt and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And Roman just snapped. The way I don't want to go too far into the segment because we're still going to talk about it later. We got some meat and potatoes, but we just chewing on the bread right now, man. We throwing some salt on this sandwich.
I'd rather see Jim.
It was I'm going to get to Jim because Jim is the calm one. And when the calm one starts tripping,
That's
It's going to lead. That's when we're going to see the bloodline come back together and beat the crap out of Phil. Because last night, the way Roman dialed up and flashed back with that shield bomb, oh my goodness! I mean, great television, Triple H. I just got to give it to him on that one. Great way to close out the segment. Yeah.
The
You
Superman
drop
punch
the
is
Superman
his
punch.
thing.
It's so silly.
I know, but it's his logo. You can't get rid of it now. Like it's literally, man. It's like
I was happy that they finally put hands on each other because that was the one I was like, dude, if they talk back and forth again, somebody's got to get hit tonight.
Just ends getting dropped.
And luckily, a couple people got dropped. So I was like, I was pumped with the whole thing.
Like
it was a great segment.
I think we're running into the same issue we ran into last year with WrestleMania, though, is that there are way too many matches that are getting played up as marquee main events that one or two of these aren't going to be the main event. So which one gets left out? Because Randy and Cody, that's a main event. CM Punk and Roman, that's a main event. You could argue Rhea and Jade and Stephanie and Liv, because Stephanie and Liv is starting to get really good.
That's heating up too. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
All of these are main event matches, and I think you have to make with the women one of them. Or at least
probably rotate one as an opener, and the next night probably the opposite.
Yeah, I would think the same.
There's going to be definitely co-main events each night to kind of just balance out with how many potential matches we've already got with WrestleMania on the card. Just potential matches, not the ones that are set in stone. We still have a Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial, which usually airs on SmackDown the night before. Potentially, we also have the Usos versus the Vision for the tag team titles. Potentially, we also have Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov for the third time, fourth time. Whatever situation is going to happen with the women's U.S. title, I don't think we're going to get that on the card. But we also Oba is definitely, though, that I have the definite matches up there that are already penciled in. But we still
also could be a main eventer right there. Oba and Brock could easily be the main event of night one.
It could be right before the main event, literally. It's up there in that upper echelon of card stacking where you want premier matches. Also, we have potentially a rematch of the MFTs and Priest and Truth. We have the MFTs losing the tag team titles last week to Damian Priest and R-Truth, of all people.
And
combo tag team.
Yep, Bailey.
There you go.
With the women's tag division needs something as well, because I'm telling you now,
that was garbage last week. I'm gonna just go out there and say it. The women's division, the tag women's division in SmackDown looked terrible last week, and that was the only thing on the show that I really couldn't vibe with. It was
the Bellas anymore, man. The Bellas
are those three teams are the worst combination of teams to put together in a match that I've seen in a long time. There's no fluidity, there's no coordination. You can tell these people either don't like each other or don't want to work with each other. From Flair and Bliss against the Bellas,
star power, dude, this match would not work at all. If it were the names themselves, this would be easily one of the worst ones. And if this makes it on a WrestleMania card and the men's tag division doesn't for the second year in a row, that's a mistake. That's
I feel bad for Lash Legend in this situation. She's the rookie here, and she's just getting dumped on with all this. This is a hard way to come up. If she survives this, then that girl has a very bright future. And potentially, the last potential match that I have penciled in right here, we still haven't got it confirmed, but it looks like we're moving towards Steph versus Braun Breaker. Hopefully, if he's cleared and things work out. So
if they're both cleared, that has to happen, because you could easily make that that could be an opening match to really set off the entire night.
And even before WrestleMania, they're setting up a badass Monday Night Raw at Madison Square Garden next week.
Now, my question to you guys is, a lot of people have been vocally in disdain about if Obafemi loses to Brock Lesnar. Well, I feel as if he'll be okay after that. And I'll tell you why after I get your opinions. But how do you guys feel about the Brock Lesnar Obafemi match being set up the way it's being set up right now?
I love it. I love everything about it, because I see the vision that they're trying to make Oba the next Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
That's all this is made to do, is to make Oba the beast and let Brock finally pass the torch to somebody that he likes You can see that he actually enjoys working with this guy. He's willing to take.
He has to fight smiling. That's a beautiful thing right there.
And that entire walkout yesterday of him like being told by Paul, no, don't do it, and he's running at him, but he's not running at him, and you could see it on his face, the look of kind of concern that he had.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, for those people who don't watch wrestling or don't know who this dude is one of the baddest men on the freaking planet. And he would not be doing this for somebody he did not like. He would not be taking these kind of bumps. He would not be looking the way he does at this job if he wasn't seeing somebody that he could pass the torch to.
Definitely.
I love the way they're setting this up. And it has to end with Oba winning. It has to. Because
I'm glad you said that.
You're not going to stretch this out into the next WrestleMania, the next WrestleMania, and the next WrestleMania.
Let me break it down to you for if he wins or if he loses. And I'm glad you said that. We're going to do this real quick. Now, if Oba wins, where do we go? It's either straight to the top or a title picture within the year. And you got to be careful. So far, he's been booked perfectly. But if Oba loses, it's not the end of the world. It's not, because we forgot just that quick the potential rumor swirling Brock Lesnar's retirement at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where he's from. Now, if this is to be true, Oba losing won't have a serious effect on him because they can run it back for Brock Lesnar's retirement. And that is a bigger gift to Oba in the future than beating him right now at WrestleMania, which is still good. Oba's already over. He can get no more over other than shirts, merchandises, and appearances with DoorDash, since they're sponsoring the hell out of WWE.
Right.
He's over with the fans, the community, the company. For Christ's sake, the company loves him, and I think he'll continue to be booked fairly and properly, how we've been seeing, even if he loses. This is a situation where WWE can't fail. And it's not often that we can say that or see that as fans.
So I see your vision, but I'm going to counter it here. The Brock Lesnar retirement match is going to be Gunther, because that's just
please no, God, no.
It's going to be Gunther. But hear me out on this. That's why if Oba wins at Mania, it's actually better, because if Oba wins and beats Brock at Mania, Oba is now the new big beast of the entire WWE. You can continue his story going down that line. You can feed him even guys like Roman Reigns, and it'll be great. Randy, exactly.
Yeah,
great television. While you're building him, you continue Gunther as the legend killer in the terms of killing careers. He ends Brock Lesnar's career the day after SummerSlam. He comes out and says, "That's another one to the belt. Nobody can take me out." And then whose music hits? Oba Femi. And when's the last time the WWE has had a true big man against big man rivalry that can last literally a decade? Oba Femi and Gunther could be that rivalry.
We're talking going back to like Hogan Andre big man status right there. It's been a while.
Two menacing presences that anytime they step foot in a ring, you're expecting them to win in one way or another. And it could finally be the retribution for people like me who can't freaking stand watching Gunther wrestle sometimes, because all sleeper hold and a power bomb. That's all this man does. And don't get me wrong, I get it. That's the point. But if he gets dropped by a man like Oba, I can walk away finally saying, thank you. There's somebody on the roster that can take Gunther out.
Yeah.
And I think
definitely.
That's exactly where we're headed.
We had a listener text in saying, does Drew get a match at Mania, or is he going to be gone by then?
No, it's going to be Drew and Jacob at Mania. If that happens.
Their feud has been crazy intense.
And the entire thing on SmackDown on Friday of the two of them falling off of the banister together and all that was pretty crazy.
These segments are so WCW, and I love it.
Oh, yeah. That might be on purpose, because Drew is a lover of the WCW era, so it wouldn't be far from the thought that they would kind of lean into that. Plus, I'm pretty sure Paul Heyman has a lot to do with a lot of this writing on SmackDown.
Definitely.
And you can just see it in every story that's being built right now. Before we get out of here, though, because I know we're running out of time, everything is building up well for WrestleMania, which we have in about a month. But this is really the key time for them to crack down on all of these stories, figure out what's going to be on the card and which stories are going to work and which ones aren't. If you had, a magic wand or, whatever, a crystal ball that you could say, what matches are going to be left off the WrestleMania card as it sits right now to you?
Oh, anything that has to do with the current women's tag team division on SmackDown because of what I've seen last Friday.
Mm.
If there's a match planned between those three teams, they need to just put it on the card and condense it for Friday night SmackDown before WrestleMania.
Friday before Mania.
Dump that with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial, if need be. The women's U.S. title. If you got 26 days before WrestleMania, you can still do a lot. But I don't think it's enough to build up certain feuds to where we would matter. They would just be apparent as filler.
Not even with Tiffany going after it? You don't think they're going to give her a nod just solely because of that?
Well, if they want to give the title some visibility, you definitely put it on Tiffy. And have her work her way back up to the women's world title, no problem. Give her the other belt. She's already had the WWE Women's Championship. Slap her on the other brand, and, you can put Tiffy with anybody. She's great. But is it enough time for us to care about it? Possibly, but maybe not. That's the only one I can really see right now at the time that we have without taking up too much. But, yeah, I don't see that one. Those two making it on the roster, making it on the card for WrestleMania.
I agree. It's a lot to do in a short amount of time, especially for those two feuds. Maybe that is their plan for the Friday before Mania, though. You get both of those title matches then, because they do usually one or two.
Or if we get another match, something with Raquel and Io's match,
maybe
coming up after Raw.
Which also would leave the alleyway open for the men's tag to get in there, because I do think a match between the MFTs, the Wyatt Six, and the who just won the titles? Damian would actually be pretty entertaining to watch at Mania. And you could throw in a fourth team there. You really could. You could throw in Fraxium or the Motor City Machine Guns or somebody in there that's pretty well respected to make that match kind of go. But I think they have
tag team is just all jacked up.
They have well, they have a storyline brewing with the Motor City Machine Guns right now.
Yeah, but I mean, even as one of a big fans of a lot of those tag teams, they're just getting old, man. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they have a lot of direction with the Wyatts. I don't think they have really a lot with MFTs.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be some major change up in their curveball or something.
To have such a wild resurgence that they had with the Wyatts too, and to do so little with them really does bug me. And I get that. Right.
It goes to show you, as great as the individual superstars are on the roster, WWE is still lacking a superstar tag team. Once again, comes back around and bites them in the butt every couple of months. We see it. The division suffers. Even with placement for it, you could take away Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov's match for WrestleMania potentially, put it on SmackDown, and give another tag team a shot on the card of WrestleMania just to boister some visibility for those titles on each brand. Because right now, unless you want to unite them, I don't know what else we could do to get people interested in the divisions. Sparky's over there getting harassed.
I know.
At work. This man
just does what he wants around here, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yesterday at the golf tournament, he was an old curmudgeon, and we were playing Plinko. How could you be an old curmudgeon playing Plinko?
My last question is, do we get a Evans match?
That's so
because he is on fire right now.
If WWE goes back to pre-show matches, then we definitely put him on there.
Yeah.
Definitely to hype the crowd up. This man can do no wrong. Literally, I love the match, the premise, the whole point of how they put him against Grayson Waller, how Kofi wants to scout him for the New Day, how he's like, get away from me, old man. He's that old cuz. Like, come on, man. I was like, I love how they just let Javon speak freely and just get his whole persona over to the crowd because it's a lot of people in the crowd like him. So great job with that, how they're booking him, how he's being handled. But I don't see why he can't be on the pre-show. That right there, if they start bringing back those, That's going to pop your crowd while they're getting in their seats, and you're giving him a taste of a WrestleMania moment.
Maybe
This
he
guy
wins the
already,
Andre the Giant deal the night before.
You know
Or
what?
something.
That's probably
that would be great. That would be great right there because they don't have a men.
They did it for Melo
Yeah,
last year. It could
yeah.
absolutely happen. So, and I think Trick will probably have a good standout in that as well. But I don't know. I don't think they make early shows for WrestleMania though, do they? Have we ever had a pre-show?
They haven't had a pre-show for a pay-per-view, like pre-show matches and a
Yeah,
pay-per-view in a while.
I didn't
Now, if
think so.
somebody in the comments wants to go and give us an exact date on the last time WWE had a pre-show, feel free to call in. You've got some time for the rest of the
Yeah,
show,
they don't even
and
do house
help
shows
us out.
anymore. They don't want to do pre-shows. They don't even do house shows anymore, man. They're
Seriously.
dwindling on all that stuff. But we have run out of time, my friend. Thank you so much for yours. We will talk to you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. We got to take a break. We'll be back in about 3 minutes, get into some other things in the world of sports. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Ozzy. I can't listen to Ozzy and try to talk over the top of it. It's too difficult. But we got a job to do. So this is the early bird special right here on KGEO Studios, KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. Big thanks to our guy KG for coming in and talking wrestling for a little bit with us. We got plenty to talk about outside of that, though. There's a ton going on in baseball as opening day is set to get started tomorrow
on Netflix.
What
do you know?
Yankees. Oh God, who's the other team?
Giants.
Is it Yankees Giants? Oh well, at least we'll watch Captain America hopefully hit a home run, even though he failed to do so in the World Baseball Classic. But I mean, hey. But in other news in the world of baseball, the Cubs are looking to sign their guy Pete Crow Armstrong to a massive extension. Hopefully, we will get the details of this today. But this is the young stud for the Chicago Cubs that they hope will come in and fix all of the problems that they have had in the last couple seasons. He's only 24 years old. I believe tomorrow is his birthday. He turns 24. And we're talking about the first 30-30 guy that this organization has had since Sammy Sosa back in the late 90s. So all the talent in the world, all the money in the world should be going to this guy. And with the way baseball contracts have been for the last couple years, would not be surprised if we see some sort of massively historic contract for PCA. What's going on? Who we got on the phone?
We got Daily Dave, and he wants to talk a little flag football.
Mr. Dave, good to hear from you, sir.
Hey, guys. Had a great weekend. Just watched that special with Brady and Joe Burrow.
Yes, absolutely.
And it was interesting, but that American team, they've been playing that style, and they got a bunch of real quick movers, I think if we got our quickest guys from the NFL, they could make up a team, but you don't need a Gronk, you don't need a
we said the same thing yesterday.
Watched it all?
Yeah, we said we watched it, or at least I watched it. I don't know how much Spark got to see of it, but we did talk about that yesterday, and I've been in the same boat as you, Dave. I don't think we need guys like Gronk and Brady and all of them to come back to play on this Olympic team to win gold. We really don't need anybody to win gold. Let's be honest. We just watched the Team USA team blank everybody in the NFL. And although the Team USA coach did come out and say if the NFL players kind of focused their game more towards the flag football side of it, they would probably end up being better. It doesn't really matter. We don't need them to. There's two completely different games, two completely different rule sets. And to be honest, I think if there's some players that want to go play, I know Joe Burrow still wants to do it. I know Justin Jefferson still wants to do it. I say all the more power to you, but you're not going to play. Like, these guys are so good at what they do.
And they don't have time to, try out or practice with the team. So
and learn the nuances that is flag football.
Yes, you're absolutely right. They know tackle football. They're durable, bigger men.
Absolutely.
These guys were just little flies, they were swatting at them and they couldn't touch him.
Now, I know that it's a little bit of a skewed comparison, but I looked at Luke Kuechly, who in my lifetime watching football has been one of the most athletically gifted linebackers to play, in my opinion. And he looked completely out of place. I know he hasn't played football in a couple of years due to being retired, but he still has the athletic ability I would assume that he had when he was a year or two younger. And he looked like he was completely out of place during this tournament. I was impressed. I really was. I was saying the same thing yesterday, that I did not expect to watch that and to really be as entertained as I was.
So. Yeah, it was more of an entertainment value thing.
Yes.
But I think if we took all of our fastest players and got them into it and got a team together and let them practice, they could maybe give that the American team a run for their money. They're not saying that they could beat them, because that team has been to get those plays that they did were
incredible.
Unique,
Yeah, and Tom Brady had highlighted that as well, that the passing games are different. Like, they tried to go with more of an NFL style, and it doesn't work. It's a different type of game. So I think you're absolutely right that just they're talented at what they do, and I think we should just rely on Team USA to do what they do and bring home gold.
I agree. They're talented. They just had a couple of guys that were just untouchable. Really,
Oh,
even the
yes.
flags, they couldn't hardly catch the flag.
Well,
there's an art.
The
catching
quarterback
flags,
caught 5 passes, Dave. I mean, this kid could be the Shohei Ohtani of football, and we don't even know it. I mean, we have no idea about it. But just to throw something at you, not to highlight your age or anything, but being somebody who probably doesn't know who these men are, what did you think of the celebrities that were in it with the guys like Logan Paul and ISO Speed? Do you think that helped at all?
No, they had no business being out there. I would have rather had some little Waddle or that real quickster that just left Miami that was with the Kansas City
Tyreek.
Chiefs.
Well, Tyreek Hill's dealing with some serious
Homie can't
knee
walk
injuries.
right now.
Yeah, he can't walk, so I don't know if he was going to be out on the field. But I see your point. You're absolutely right. More athletes probably would have made this game a little more competitive.
Yeah, a 5'9", 5'11" speedster that ran a 4.4 or 4.3 at the combine, that would have made up better than Logan Paul or some of these other guys, But the only advantage we had was in the height when they threw the ball deep in the corner, and our boys and our pro guys are catching with one hand 2 feet above them. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely. And that is the benefit of the size, but that's not really what flag football looks for anymore. Like you want more of the shifty guys that can get away and won't get their flags pulled.
And I think the same thing would happen if you put some NBA players on some street ball.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a different, it is the same sport, but a whole different practice, different monster. And if you've ever watched, I mean, I've watched some big, heavy, street ball out at Venice Beach and some places.
Was huge when I was a kid.
And they're studs, dude.
Oh, yeah. And I agree with you. Like, if you threw guys, certain NBA players probably could make that transition. But it's the same thing here.
It was entertaining. And, Brady still threw it pretty fast.
Yes, he does. No, you don't lose that, though, with age. Like, your muscles know how to throw a football, especially if you do it as much as he did. But you're right. Like, he looked fine. I just don't think we need a 50-year-old Tom Brady leading the team. Maybe as a coach. Love to have him as a coach or an owner.
Yeah.
But we don't need to throw in the football.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was just more entertainment value, and it was very interesting, and looking forward to it. And I know why the football players, they want to be Olympians too. You know what I mean? You can't blame them.
Everybody wants to win gold. I mean, that's something that if you are an athlete, you've dreamt about doing probably your entire life. But before we let you go, Dave, what did you think? Do you think this will actually get people to want to watch more flag football, or do you think this was just kind of a fun thing we get to watch before the Olympics?
I think I would like to see that America's team play some other flag football people and see how they do, and see if they're as dominant, against a bunch of little, against a team that practices flag football.
True. I mean, again, I think that I've kind of been in this area, but if we're going to have the XFL, UFL, NFL, whatever, we might as well have a flag football league. I don't see why we don't. Or at least some sort of professional league that they can go to. I mean, it would make all the sense in the world to me. And the NFL could fund it. It could be like a WNBA thing.
Be some side money. We had some other texts that came in, said Eric Davis was the Reds player you were mentioning.
Yeah, Eric Davis, thank you.
And the other one was a perfect bracket, the women's perfect bracket. They actually have Texas winning the championship.
Do they really? Well, that's obviously going to get busted somewhere along the line because it's UConn. But hey, all the more power to you. A perfect bracket is still a perfect bracket, no matter how far you make it through. I just think it's pretty impressive that you get past the first round as a whole and still be perfect.
Yeah, right. And then the other one was saying, I wanted to share this story. Arkansas freshman star Darius Acuff Jr. just made history, landing a signature shoe deal with Reebok while still in college.
Really?
$1 million plus shoe deal. And he's believed to be the first NCAA men's player to do it with a major brand, a projected top NBA draft pick, but he's still fighting and playing for the Razorbacks.
And they got a tall order ahead of them in the next round, but that's pretty neat. I mean, that's how the world of basketball is really going. I think a lot of these athletes are going to start getting signed out of college, especially with NIL deals being a thing. And And I'm honestly surprised Nike hasn't reached out to somebody yet and tried to pull in maybe the Boozer brothers or AJ, one of these big name freshmen that's going to be a huge name going into the NBA.
Isn't that a Shaq and AI type deal right now with Reebok?
I'm not 100% sure.
I want to say that Netflix show that they've been doing.
Really?
As they're trying to bring back basketball shoes to Reebok.
Interesting. I have not seen that, so I'd have to dive into that. What's the name of the show? Do you remember?
Something about giving it back or be learning it back, something like that. It's one of those big shows on Netflix.
They would also make a lot of sense why they have that stupid AI phone shoe phone commercial going around right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that makes all the sense in the world now. Okay. Now, and that'd be interesting if they are. I mean, I just think that this is the next step in the evolution, really. I mean, when NIL deals came out, I had a feeling that this would be the next in line, that these big companies would be reaching out to college athletes and saying, why should we wait until they get to the pros? If they're big in college, they can make money for us then.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me at all. And it's one of those things too, where athletes are probably going to change shoe companies just as much as they change colleges and teams. At some point, they're going to find somebody that's going to pay them more, and they'll just jump ship and say, hey, I want to wear Nikes now. I want to wear Jordans. It's just how basketball is going to become. Take it if you will, take it if you don't. That's just kind of how basketball is evolving at this point. The other story I wanted to get to as well, Victor Wembanyama in the NBA is coming out and pretty much saying he is making every case in the world to be the MVP. And should he not be? I mean, they've won 22 of 24 of their last games. He's been dominant. He is one of 6 big men to be averaging the numbers he's averaging, Kareem being one of them, Shaq being the other. I mean, there's Hakeem Olajuwon, Robinson, I believe, is on this list. It's hard not to give him the MVP award, being as good as the Spurs have been.
That'd be my pick.
And I know everybody is throwing out Shea, obviously, with the continued success of the Thunder, and Luka dropping 60 on people. But I agree with you. I mean, when we look at who has really been the talk of the league every single day this entire season, who is really growing into the face of the league, and this could be the best opportunity, really, to forcibly take that torch out of certain players' hands and hand it to the big man of Victor Wembanyama, because for some reason, he is the only European basketball player that Americans are getting behind. I'm not 100% sure why we can't get behind European basketball players as the face of the league, but I think Victor could be the very first one that we truly, as Americans, fully embrace as the face of the NBA. The MVP award could just be the first step towards that. And if he continues this trek of statistical greatness, we could be looking at one of the best big men to ever play the game of basketball. I know everybody's looking at or listening to their radio right now saying, oh, here he goes again with the wild takes, but it's true. You're looking at a guy who's averaging the same numbers Kareem did, Shaq did, Hakeem Olajuwon did, David Robertson did, Patrick Ewing did. And he's doing it early in his career, not when he's at his prime. God only knows what we could be getting out of this guy here in about 3, 4, 5 years from now. And then we're all going to be sick and tired of talking about Victor Wembanyama because of how damn good he is with the basketball. What are your thoughts? I mean, I know you said that he's a runaway.
I think it's a runaway for just dealing with all the injuries SGA and all the other big names have had this year. I think Wemby's pretty much put that logo on the back of his shoulders and ran with it this year. And I've been saying it for years. If he could stay healthy and continue to do what he's been doing, I think he's the face of the NBA for the future. And I'm not any blinking about it. I love it. And if you've ever watched or not watched him, you need to watch him because this kid is special.
Yeah. 24, 11, 3 and 3 is what he's averaging right now. I mean, I know we all talk about how Jokic commands the game and has changed it with the way he plays, or even Steph with the 3-pointers. But if this guy can turn into a ball distributor as well, we could be seeing a walking triple-double. We really could. he is so talented. He's so good at the game of basketball that it's almost scary. It's understandable why we call this guy an alien, because much like Shohei Ohtani, I don't think we've ever seen this before. I really don't. I know we talk about it, how his stats are comparable to some of the greatest bigs. I don't think we've ever seen a guy like Wemby before. And I don't think we'll see a guy like Wemby again. I really don't. But I agree with you. If there's anybody that should be a runaway for the NBA MVP this season, I would assume it's Victor Wembanyama. I know there's going to be votes that goes towards Luka, especially if the Lakers continue their winning streak. But it's hard really to go against a guy who's leading a team to 22 of 24 wins and is averaging the numbers that Kareem and Shaq did. And you don't give this guy the MVP nod, I'd be very surprised.
And before we get out of here, we have another college player suing the NCAA for another year of eligibility. I just wanted to ask you, without getting deep into this story,
but is this the linebacker who went through the draft combine and everything?
Well, he went through all of it, but they're counting his 3 lacrosse games as a full year of sports.
I saw that. I read that.
My question is, are we just heading towards a world where that's a court deal, not an NCAA fight?
Yeah, because again, the NCAA needs help with their rules and regulations on how they can really combat these guys coming back, or just how the NIL money works and all of that. But yeah, there needs to be some rule changes in the NCAA, and that's not a secret. I mean, everybody's been talking about that for God knows how long. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow. The Oklahoma linebacker who went through all the draft combine, all the draft potential, and now is trying to go back to college for one more year. Just tell us you don't have the confidence to be a pro, kid. Like, I don't know what else you could say. You just don't have the confidence to play for yourself. I don't know, but we'll talk more about that tomorrow, because there is some weird guidelines when it came to him playing lacrosse his freshman year. It's so odd. But yes, join us back here tomorrow, 7 to 9. We'll get into more of that, plus a ton more in the world of sports. We'll get you ready for opening day and March Madness. The Sweet 16 starts on Thursday. Sparky, let's get out of here.